Oh yeah. So our first guest today is a recording artist that is truly killing the game. Justin reached out stating that he is ready to share his story of heartache, trials, and tribulations for the first time with the world. So we brought him out here, y'all. Please put your hands together for the one and only Mr. Justin Dejesus. Woo! Justin! Hello, my friend.
Hola, hola.
Hola. Thank you.
Yes, so you look great.
Thank you, too. Okay, first red and black outfit
Yes,
going on
I see
today.
you twins today.
Thank you very much. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien, gracias.
Oh, she speaks Spanish.
Yo hablo un poquito español, sí,
Awesome.
So, it's so great to have you here.
Yes.
You are killing the game in the underground world. But before we dig into that, I want to give you the floor to tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Yes, so I'm 28 years old, Puerto Rican. I kind of grew up in a not so great environment. I don't know how deep we can get into that.
Tell us your truth.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, so...
If you're going to tell it, then you might
know,
as well
it was the
tell
same,
it all.
It was rice and beans every night, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't really a lot of Christmas presents involved. Parents, though they were hardworking, were never home because they had to work, you know, maintain those bills, stuff like that. So there was a lot of feelings of like loneliness for sure.
Wow.
So I think that made me like kind of turn to like the streets really. I got involved with a lot of like not so great people and, you know, started doing a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have at a very young age. By the time I was 14 years old, I was in a program for about 8.5 months due to just, I was honestly breaking into houses, stealing from people, doing kind of like way too much. And that wasn't the first time either. It happened when I was 14 years old and again when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
So like a total of, 17 months total out of like my childhood of when I'm supposed to be like playing sports and stuff like that.
Doing stuff.
You're doing all that, and on top of the 21 days of juvenile detention center here and there.
Wow.
So it was kind of like I didn't really have the childhood that I feel like I probably, like everybody else has, you know, growing up, just playing outside with friends. A lot of moving. I did a lot of moving, different cities to different parts of Florida. So I've never really had like that long that friendship with anybody that's like, oh, we've been friends since we were this high. I don't have any of that. Like the people that I care for the most right now is my direct family and my team members that I met in 2016 and in 2012. So it's like those are like my family, my forever, long term.
Wow.
No matter what happens, is that right there. But yeah, as far as my upbringing, it was very hard because I was, like I said, felt alone a lot.
And that's a tough place to be.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you had great parents. They just had responsibilities.
Too much responsibilities.
And
in a
had a lot
time
of
where, you know, like...
And when you have an idle mind, they said an idle mind is what? The devil's workshop. You have a kid that's growing and learning, trying to discover yourself.
Exactly.
So if you do fall into the wrong hand, things can happen.
Exactly.
You know, so tell us, after your adolescent years, what heartache, trials, and tribulations did you experience, Justin?
Yeah, so after I was 17 when I got like when I was kind of like done with it as far as like that lifestyle.
Like, okay,
I got into like a really big raid. It was like all over the news too.
Oh,
and I was
wow.
a juvenile at the time, thank God, because that would have been nasty on my adult record. But yeah, I was a juvenile at the time. So like I was under house arrest. I was about to go to they were gonna adjudicate me to like as an adult.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a whole situation. Pretty much during that court case, I had like the epiphany of like, you know what, like this isn't right. I need to like focus in on my music. During the time, I was just writing like lyrics, a little bit of poetry, stuff like that. Like I was writing raps, but it wasn't like a serious, like I'm gonna do this for real. Pretty much during that time when I was under house arrest and doing that probation for that, it was when it flipped and I was like, I'm not doing nothing illegal no more. I'm literally just gonna do music and that's all I'm gonna do. So
and you meant that thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, at that point, I'd never been arrested since.
Right, so you were like, I'm done with this.
Yeah,
so let's fast forward a little bit to
Go to
your
your
life
next question.
now. Your music is doing really well, Justin.
Right.
What has music done for you emotionally and spiritually?
I think honestly, growing up the way I did, having that anger and that resentment almost and the loneliness, writing was kind of like a coping mechanism for me to kind of escape the reality, kind of like write what I want to write down, like, and just express
Journal
it how
it,
I want.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, spiritually, I think it really made me become more of a happier person. I think I would be a lot more angrier
if you didn't have this
if I didn't
outlet.
have that. Specifically, though, music, because there was so much other. Oh, let's play sports. Let's do acting and this, that, or the third. But it was music that actually did that for me, as far as like that switch of like, oh, like, everything's gonna be all right.
Hey,
like,
music
write
does
it
that
out.
for you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
definitely.
a beautiful thing. So how would you describe your music and your live performances? When people come and see you, what are they seeing? What are
they're
they
gonna see automatically it's gonna be raw energy, and that's just off rips.
You look like you got some raw energy.
It's raw energy. I'm jumping in the crowd. Y'all better catch me. If not,
Really?
then we're gonna stand up and mosh pit.
I was
It's
gonna
that
say,
energy,
do we mosh pit
It's
too?
definitely it's more like a punk rock kind of
Really?
concert when you see it. But you start listening and it's like, oh, they're rapping.
Oh.
I'm a very versatile artist, so it's really hard to put me in a box as far as like, what kind of music do you make? I can get my J. Cole on. I can get my
Really?
Gucci
So if I
Man
ask
on.
you to spit something for us right now, and it has to be clean.
It has to be clean.
You got something? Yes.
I say Young Dolph. Let's come back. Can we come back to that
Yes,
a little bit?
think of something you
I
can
don't
share
want-
with us
we
on
on
the
air, we
air.
on air.
Yeah, we don't want to be bleeped out
That
the whole
part, that
time.
part.
But we'd love to hear a little
Yes,
bit of something.
absolutely.
Is there any other business you're involved with, any other businesses or anything you want to venture into other than music?
I definitely want to venture into acting. That's something that I always had a love for when I was younger. It's actually something that I was trying to do before I was even pursuing music. I even have some IMDb credits on imdb.com off of some shows.
Excellent. You're going to get one today, too.
Oh, awesome. Didn't know that. Needs all that.
Yes.
But I got those two in, and then like I said, I was going into I was getting into a lot of trouble during that that process, so I didn't really get to pursue it the way I really wanted to. And during my time in those juvenile detention centers and in those programs is when I started writing poetry and stuff. So it's like I never really actually got to pursue that. Kind of went into music because it was like the coping mechanism for me.
Yes.
So like that's definitely something that I want to go back into as far as like outside of music. I also have a record label. I know that's within music, but outside of like the creation of music.
Are you signing other artists?
Yeah, one of them's in the crowd right
All
there.
right, what's up? You gonna bring him back?
Oh yeah, I'm
one
trying
day?
to get him on here with you one day.
Yes, that would be so nice.
Yes.
Well, listen, anything can happen when you believe in yourself. You
Yes.
have faith.
Absolutely.
You can turn your life around. And I believe, I don't know if you are, but I believe in God. I'm truly a believer. So I
Higher
know
up.
exactly everything that you went through as a young person. You know, and you may have thought, I'm lonely and nobody's here for me, whatever, but God was building you up to be
Of
who
course.
you are today.
Yeah.
And you're such a great role model. And I hope that you're continuing that when you're in the streets and off
Absolutely.
the lavender couch as well.
Absolutely.
On
I
a
try to
continuous-
inspire as much as I can.
Yes,
every
that's
day.
what it's all about. Thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah,
Don't y'all go
absolutely.
nowhere. We got a game coming up, and it's called Woo! Say What?